Yeah, I was about to say hopefully it will be faster. It was even faster. In a nick of a time, split of a second, the red recording button has been on. Okay, start. So that's to say the recording has begun. It's Friday. So we are going to make the most out of the time that we have by doing observation. Okay, observation of what we set up yesterday, which is with regards to the yeast experiment. And I do expect at this point in time, you took the opportunity to set up your own experiment, which is similar to this, but with some modification because you do not have a test tube, but there are balloons in the office. Maybe you have your own balloon. You don't need to use a test tube raw, but you have to have a control and an experimental. We set this up yesterday. When you set up your own, you can use, as I mentioned, hold on, let me grab it. It's within my reach. A recycled container. Okay, here I do have, there's nothing inside yet, just a small amount of water and a balloon. You just need to have two balloons, right? And then yesterday you saw how it was set up. Be patient. It took about 24 hours to make or have this balloon inflated. Before the recording during the warm up, we looked at it briefly. And I asked you, what did you notice? And then a lot of you mentioned in the room that the balloon inflated. What do you think is inside the balloon that made it inflated? I put a small tape. I put a small tape here, to keep it sealed. Type in the chat. What do you think inside the balloon that makes it inflated? This is the next opportunity to participate. All right, put in the chat. What do you think is inside? What makes the balloon inflate? Yes, air. Oh, the plastic drop. Let me pick it up. Excellent. The good thing is plastic. Yeah, air. Or a gas. All right, and we have learned in the past, that is many, many weeks ago, that gas or air is one of the states of matter. Now, of course, if you haven't typed the word air or gas, please do so now because I'm collecting your names as part of your participation. All right, and I would love to see. Oh, yeah, the last person who participated is Jesse. Excellent. Let me find out the rest where they are. Let me look at the Gregorian quickly. Yeah, they are here. Okay, they are here. So excellent. Now, we're going to go back to this because today our main goal is to look for specific evidence that will give us an opportunity to answer our question yesterday, which was, let me focus. Read the question once again for yourself, class, as I read it aloud. How does sugar as the source of energy? And thank you, Jose, last person who participated. Appreciate that. You got your 10 points. But please add more participation, okay? Don't just be satisfied with one. Stay all the time. All right, let me continue. Let me continue. Let me start again. How does a sugar, which is from plant, keep in mind how we are making a connection between plant and its ability to photosynthesize, making food, and the dependence of an organism to plant in order to start living or start becoming active. I'm think of the yeast because yeast, as mentioned in this question, is inactive. And they are used in the office. All right. They are inactive when they are in the pocket when you buy from the store, or in a dark bottle, they look like breadcrumbs, but they aren't. I'll show you again after reading all these things. All right. So how does the sugar, a source of energy, affect the inactive yeast or the inactive fungus, such as yeast? Okay, read this to yourself once again. So my arm is getting tense now, but I know you will keep this in your mind, and I will. And we're going to go back to this question when we are almost ending the lesson. All right. Now, as I mentioned a while ago, that yeast, when they are in the bottle, well, I took some already from the bottle, and you know that because this was from yesterday. They look like breadcrumbs, but they aren't, and they are living things. It's a fungus, not a bacteria, but a fungus. Think of a mushroom. The big kind are the mushroom. The small kind are the yeast. Okay, and they are living organism, alive, and they need energy from food. And then yesterday we added, do you remember what did we add? Tell me. We have two set up yesterday. All right. Are you still with me, by the way? Just checking. Because I kind of feel I'm talking to myself here. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I feel I'm not alone. I'm just not talking to the screen. Oh, Karen left the meeting. Maybe disconnection. Hopefully Karen returns. Okay. Hopefully. Yeah. So could you tell me, there are two groups in this experiment. We always do that. We have the control, and you see the control did not inflate at all. Two, because one is from period 2. Now we have duplication. We have, when you do it again, it's justifiable, and it's a good proof that, all right, it did not work the way I was expecting. If salt, if sugar is added, all right, as compared to this one. Once again, tell me, what's the difference between the two? What did we add here and not here? So this has yeast and water. What about this? Yeast, water, and plus what? I'm waiting. Look at the pink paper. Yes, sugar. Natalia did it. Stephanie did it. Put your name in the room. So that will be the fifth question that I ask you. I'm going to look for your name on the list if you did it. Yeah, the sugar. So what makes this different is the control, no sugar. The experimental has sugar. And all our experiment have something we call control, and the other one is experimental, for us to compare the two. Because we want to know the effect. That's why we need to have something that is, we're going to call it normal. Normal, no sugar. Not normal with sugar. Incidentally, the one with sugar inflated. Now, let's pause and think about our question again. So in our question, we want to know that how does sugar, a source of energy, affect the inactivity of the fungus? Firstly, my question for you, tell me, based on the result, we will be looking, let us let it pass by. It's an ambulance, okay? Hopefully the person survived. All right. Let's look for an evidence. Look for an evidence. Tell me, think first before you put your response. Did the sugar affect the yeast? Yes or no? This is with sugar, this is without sugar. Did the sugar affect the yeast? Yes or no? I'm waiting. Yes! Please put your response. Don't just copy what others are saying, huh? Because you see majority and I said yes. Think first before and see if you agree to that. Yes. There's even two setups here. This one with both with sugar. So now, so there's a gas, as we said before the recording, and you told me you are right, you're on the money, that the sugar cause the yeast to produce gas. Mm-hmm. So before adding sugar, when they were in the container, they were inactive. That's why it's called inactive dry yeast. We added water, we added sugar, and then the bunch of yeast, warm water though, warm, not boiling, warm water. And then we covered it after 24 hours. Okay, one of the evidence that the yeast became active. Tell me what's the last word I said. One of the evidence that the yeast became active. That was the last word I said. Please type the word active. Active. Lovely. Everyone, you're the first one. Lovely. See, let me find out who's the next person who will be the first one to put the word or respond to my next question. Excellent. Let me see who did it. All right, let's see. I've got Abraham, Christopher. Let me look at the other computer. Abraham, Christopher, Jasmine. Excellent. But if you haven't put the word active, please do so now. Yeah. From being inactive to being active. So the sugar gave them energy. And we know the sugar. Tell me again, where do we get sugar from? Where's the sugar that I have here? I know I have. Okay, anyway, you know the sugar. Where do we get sugar from? Where do we get sugar from? The sugar cane. Thank you, Christopher. Lovely. You're very specific in your answer. Yes, the sugar cane plant. Yes. And then, as I said a while ago, in this lesson, we are going to make a connection to the fact that plants are the food maker. They're the only organisms. Let me get it. They are the only organisms or living things that have the ability to make their own food or to undergo photosynthesis, which we have learned multiple times. I know you jog your memory, photosynthesis. Would you type the word? Let's see. Let me find out if you can type the word independently. All right, please put the word photosynthesis. Oh, Christopher, no, the first one to do it was Abraham before. Excellent. Now we have a race here, huh? Yeah, photosynthesis. It looks like I am so over the moon. It looks like you are now very well versed in listening to the word photosynthesis and putting it into writing. Excellent. Yeah, we have learned it multiple times. We even took the time to find out exactly what the process is like, right? And we even took the time to take the green, what makes the plant green, the green substance. Do you remember this? Do you remember the process or the kind of the story behind how did we get the green substance? Do you remember? Type in the room. Yeah, that was almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah, if you don't remember, please think about it. There is a recorded lesson in the Google Classroom. I think that is in week 9 or week 8. We are now week 10. That's why on Mondays, when I post a recorded lesson, please watch them because they are essential to make us able to make a connection to the new lesson for the next week. And to make this a long story a little bit shorter, and as a result, we have this result. Mhm. Remember this. The leaves are green. Now it's not anymore because we submerges, boil it in alcohol, and we added iodine, and we found out that whenever the brown or the red brown color appears after putting some drops of iodine, it's an evidence that plants have food and they make starch through the process of photosynthesis. So far, how are we doing in making a connection? Give me a piece of five so far. Five, I know it's so wrong. I can tell anybody. Four, oh, four, oh, wow, got a lot of five here. See, that's the benefit of recalling, thinking back, okay? Not just imagining, but we are looking at the nitty gritty details of the what we have learned in the past. Oh, there's a lot of four in here and five. If you have not put your level of understanding so far, please do so. Very important information. So let me put this back in the test tube rock. Excellent. And that's why when you do an experiment, don't throw them away. Capture a picture. Today, before the end, I will take a photo of this day two result. Okay? Now, so going back, the the gas inside, this is what did I have in my hand? The gas is what? Tell me. The gas is, put the word in the chat. It's a waste. Yes. Because they they took the sugar for them to have energy. Imagine we eat food to get energy and we have waste. Waste, we perspire, we sweat. Waste. When we exhale, it's a waste. When we do number two, number one, it's a waste. We don't need it. So, as an evidence that the yeast used the sugar from sugar cane, which was the result of photosynthesis. Remember, we got a sugarcane plant, the producer, we're making a connection on how we benefit from plants. How yeast benefit from plants, get something out from them. Yeast depend on the sugar for them to be active. Sugar came from sugarcane plant. They can only get the sugarcane when they photosynthesize. We know that they need CO2. Tell me, for plants to photosynthesize, what am I missing? Oh, think first, huh? Everybody, listen up. Here's the next question. You tell me what's missing. When I say what's missing, what else plants need in order to make food? Plants need, listen very carefully, plants need water, carbon dioxide, and what is the third one? Water, carbon dioxide. Oh, yes! Light, right. It could, any kind of light, could be an artificial or the real sunlight. That's why these plants are surviving. The onion are growing. The radish has been growing so tall. We started from seed. And the mung bean as well. Yes. As long as the as long as the bare essentials are there. Just like what do we need for survival? We need oxygen. We need water. We need food for energy. Similar to the yeast, they gotta get that energy from somewhere. So in this case, we provided them sugar. And we know that sugar came from a producer, the plant. And as an evidence that the yeast used the sugar for energy, the balloon became inflated. It's because they have to let go of their waste. Let go of their waste. And the gas they let go is CO2 gas, carbon dioxide. Just like when we exhale, it's a carbon dioxide. When we inhale, anybody know what we need for survival? What gas do we need for survival? Oxygen, right? And we have learned in the past that in the process of photosynthesis, plants as producers, aside from sugar, they produce oxygen. And we get the oxygen free from the plants. So the more plants, the better the environment we're in could be. So planting is greening earth, I guess, once again. All right? Now, let me ask you, do we have evidence here? Do we have evidence? Let me ask you. Do we have evidence that the sugar affects the yeast? Do we have evidence? Type in the room because that's one of our, that's our evidence. Yes. And the reasoning, and what is the reason behind? What is the reason? We say, okay, there's an evidence, but what's the reason? What made the yeast release gas? What made this happen? What made this happen? Is it the water or the energy from the sugar? Tell me, water or energy? What's your answer? Is it the water only or the sugar in the water that made the yeast active? Think. I'm gonna give you some time to think. What made the yeast, let me rephrase, what made the yeast to be active? Oh, somebody. Yes, the energy. Correct, Christopher. The energy from the sugar. And then we need to dissolve the sugar in warm water and put the yeast. Again, if you do the experiment at home, please don't have the water boiling. Otherwise, you're going to kill the yeast. Yeast are living things. In a little while, I'm going to show you a short video clip showing yeast. All right. So here we have the evidence. I think so. And we have some form of a reason. Because the energy, as Christopher said, okay, from the sugar, which is originally from the plant, as a product of photosynthesis, provided it to the yeast that caused them to be active. Remember, this is an inactive yeast. All right? And and this is the reason why the bread rice. Yes, apparently I don't have the bread in here, but the bread rice in a panaderia, excuse me, they use yeast. How many of you knows how to bake? I do bake. I make my bread. Anybody have tried to bake? Oh, you do, Guadalupe. Do you use yeast, Guadalupe, or you just make a flatbread? Yes, you do. You do the same thing. You put the yeast in warm water and put sugar, and you will see that there are bubbles. Those bubbles, those are the gas. When you add the yeast that has been activated because you put it in warm water and sugar, let it sit for a while, put it in, mix it with your harina with the flour, then you will see the flour will expand. It's because of the gas. When you put it in the oven, the bread will rise. That's why I love bread with butter and cheese. It's floppy. Okay? So, yeast make the bread to rise. On the other hand, if there is no yeast, what will you have? Will you have a floppy bread or a flat bread? If there is no yeast, will you have a fluffy bread or a flat bread, right? Tortilla, for example. Let us say naan bread. I love naan bread and tortilla. Naan bread and a N with those are garlic. It's an Indian bread, very common in India. Lots of naan bread. Or in Sri Lankan restaurant, they have, when you go to a Mexican restaurant, the first thing they offer you aside from the chips is tortilla, right? In an Indian restaurant or Sri Lankan restaurant, Nepalese restaurant, they give you a naan bread. Primarily, these are flat bread that they don't use yeast because yeast makes the bread rise. All right. How are you doing so far? Are you doing well? Tell me if it's a 5. I know it's so well, teacher. Can't tell anybody. Wow, lovely. I love it, class. You make me alive here. Thank you. You make me alive. So I can make you alive as well, right? The relationship is mutual. So Carlos got 4. Jesse, I'm reading the name. So if you haven't put your name there, lovely. I got a lot of 5 here, huh? Lovely. Excellent. Yes. So here it is, class. Bob's your uncle. So set up your experiment and then take a photo. I think I did not take a photo of the before. I did in period 1. Take a photo, but I'm going to take a picture of after 24 hours, which I will do now. So your computer has camera, so you can take a photo from there. Or you can use your mobile phone. So I will take a photo, just one or 2 photos. So because you're going to, I'm taking a photo of myself. Selfie. Not myself. There you go. Oops, sorry. Hold on. There you go. There you go. So because your website, which you should have been starting to set up, some of you have shown me their website. If you haven't, please start. And that's one of your assignment every Monday. And there's a video that I have been posting, a pretty easy tutorial video. You will need to put the pictures of all your experiment, original, okay? Original. Not a download pic from Google, and put it in there. And write a sentence or 2 what the experiment is all about. All right. Have we accomplished our goal, by the way? Have we accomplished our goal? Our goal is to look for an evidence, and be able to support our question with some evidence, and at the same time make a connection with photosynthesis. Have we accomplished our goal? Have we? Christopher said yes. I think so. All right, class, I'm looking at the time. Oh, pretty good amount of time left for us. So we can do 2 things, okay, before I let you go. And now I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you for the opportunity of your time. Thank you for paying attention. Appreciate that.